Listen carefully to what I'm saying here. Nobody in this world, and I mean absolutely nobody, that includes believers, unbelievers, everyone, nobody can have an audience without resistance against that audience. Okay, maybe I should explain it better. Nobody can have some influence in this world without having someone or something that counters their influence. So nobody can become popular without gaining haters. So it can be that you have a chick that is quite popular, or not just on social media. She is very well liked, not only because of her looks, but also because she's smart. Let me tell you, there are haters hating on that chick. Some of those haters are her so-called friends. They are energizing negativity towards her. That's why she often feels so toxic. That's why she often feels so insecure. She thinks that insecurity is from her. She thinks she needs to fix something about herself. But those insecurities are really psychic attacks manifesting onto her. But she's not aware of this. So she begins to doubt herself. And when she doubts herself, she's now open. And now demons can trap her in negative relationships. Now demons can attract dangerous men onto her. And you name it. The reason I'm talking about this is because often when we see an easy flow of circumstances on behalf of someone, we tend to ask, why not us? Now, we don't ask that out of jealousy or envy, but we think, hold on a minute. Why is it that some people, things are just happening for them, and with others, they have to go through a lot of stuff? There's nothing wrong with asking such questions, okay? But way too often we don't look at the bigger picture. That's why we become frustrated. And when you're frustrated, it's then the demons have an open door to lie to you. Now, about the example I gave onto you of this popular chick that has this toxic insecurity. And this toxic insecurity is not hers, but it's the psychic violence that affects her. Let's say now, one day, she encounters someone at work, just a colleague, nothing romantic or anything like that. But this guy is filled with Holy Spirit. He walks by faith. He has overcome a lot of violence against his life. And, well, she's now connected with that guy. The fact that she's connected with that guy means that his blessing will have a positive effect on her. And one of those positive effects is that she doesn't feel so insecure anymore. Now, why does she feel so insecure anymore? Because when she's around that, let's call that guy David, when she's around David, those energy tumors in the energy field burn away. When she's away from David and she's around those toxic people, those energy tumors begin to grow again. But every time she's she's near David or in contact with David, those energy tumors and energy fields burn away. So the evil that's hanging around her it disappears. It's destroyed. Now what's going to happen? The people that invest in her toxicity, they're going to notice a change in her. And they're going to realize that it's someone she met that has a positive effect on her. And when they notice that this positive effect, which also hinders their psychic attacks on her, is this guy called David, then sooner or later, David has trouble. Because those people that financed evil concerning this chick are now going to see David as an intruder in their private lives. They're going to feel attacked by David's presence. So now David is the one sensing all type of psychic violence against him. But because he's experienced in overcoming psychic violence, he deals with the root immediately. Then one day that chick tells him about some of her friends that got into serious fights with their significant others, that the police had to come, and that another one almost had a car accident, So she began to report all these intense stuff that were happening to her friends. It's then that David understood what was behind those psychic attacks against him. Now, I said in the beginning of this video that nobody can have influence in this world without having someone countering or going against their influence. David, in this case, has dominant influence, and his reach goes very far. Folks resisted that influence through violence, but it backfired because David took action. You think it's over now? Nope. Those people aren't going to give up. And after a while, David realized that his association with this chick, let's call her Jenna, is not good. Because he realized that since that chick came into his life, he began to experience all those violent attacks upon his life. And the Holy Spirit told him to keep his distance. And he did. Because this was going on. That chick that suffered from toxic insecurity, she did not want to face herself. She did not want to face the people around her. So she had no interest in deliverance. So what would happen is that everyone she gets involved with, whether it's on an intimate level, just on the level of colleagues, or on a friendship level, or on the level of family, whoever she gets in contact with will be affected by the violence against her. Now, David also had violence against him, but he overcame it. He dealt with it. This chick does not want to deal with anything. When she's so upset, she just wants to unload it onto something or someone and move on. So-called moving on. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist, or you don't have to have a PhD in mathematics to understand that this association between David and Jenna is not going to be good. It's not going well for the long run. David realized this, and David obeyed the Spirit by keeping his distance. Now, I said before in this video that you can't have an audience in this world without having someone countering it. Because some people are going to oppose you and resist you just to get the feeling that they're somebody. They just want to attack someone or become angry at someone to feel that they are someone. So they need someone that they need to be the enemy of someone for them to feel good about themselves. And it doesn't matter who they select as an enemy. You have such folks. And because you have such folks walking around, do not expect that your influence is not going to be challenged. It will be challenged. What I'm telling you is to anticipate those challenges. Me, I said this before, I encountered a lot of psychic violence. I did. And I encountered a lot of hardcore relief seekers. That too. And a believer from Britain today made plain unto me that the reason why those folks cannot handle who I really am is because their pride, their self-validation is based on me being nothing. So I have to be nothing so that they are something. But because that claim of theirs, I'm nothing, so that they are something, because it doesn't add up, because they can't back it up with evidence, they're now raging. Instead of altering their own way of thinking and to give up this self-validation, they turn on those whom they deemed nothing. Now it's the fault of those they deemed nothing that they feel bad. You know what? That believer told me, don't agree with them. Reject it by remaining in agreement with Christ. And that's what I'm telling you also here. Reject the rejection of others. Reject their rejection. Okay? Because that rejection is not yours. It's theirs. It's what they hold on to. It's what they hold there. It's what they enforce on you. Don't you know there are people that will refuse you and act against you just so that they can claim that they are someone? It can be Let me give an example. That you have a great voice and you sing as one of the best in the whole country. And you're not going around with an arrogant attitude. You don't even sing when people don't ask to. You just have this beautiful voice. And now you have people that are coming to dislike you. They can't stand you. What's going on? They want to be someone. And the way they figure out to be someone is to be against you or to be against someone else. So they get their validation from being against someone. And because you stand out with your voice, with your talent, it's easy for them to use you as an outlet to validate themselves. So their rejection is theirs. It's their way of thinking. It's not yours. So you should not accept it. So if you refuse their rejection, I'm saying you should refuse their rejection. Absolutely, you shouldn't accept it under any circumstances. When you refuse it, you're on your way to victory. Because don't you realize that when you accept the rejection of others, you agree with them against yourself? Come on now. So, I'm telling you to reject rejection. How do you do that? By remaining in agreement with Christ. A lot of folks, I'm not saying most folks, but just a lot of folks, because you have a lot of them walking around, they will refuse people or will be against people just to be relieved. And they're willingly to commit violence sometimes for atrocities just to hold on to the relief seeking. So you can't have an audience in this world and not have haters that come against that audience. Or better said, you can't have an influence without people resisting or countering that influence. Just anticipate the challenge. Be at peace.